All right, hello YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. This is Cryptic Lovecraft, and I'm actually going to react and review to episode 2, another groupie in the tabloids, for the Amazon Prime TV series Paradise City. Um, like I mentioned in the previous video, every episode of Paradise City is named after a quote from the episode itself, and another groupie in the tabloids is another quote. So, where I left you guys yesterday was I told you guys that Vivian showed up at the end of episode 1, and she was holding her baby that she made with Johnny, and Johnny knew exactly who she was and what she was holding. And I told you that Vivian's mom was basically a gold digger, and um, Lizzie was trying to compel Vivian to go after Johnny for his money because they made a baby together. Well, Vivian in episode 2, another groupie in the tabloids, tells Lizzie, like, look, I'm not trying to be another groupie in the tabloids, okay? I'm not going to go after him for his money. So this compels Lizzie to take matters into her own hands, and we'll talk about that in upcoming videos. All right, so the first thing is that I mentioned that, like, when Vivian showed up across the street at the end of the Relentless show holding her baby in her arms, Johnny was, coming out of the arena or the venue, the Roxy, whatever, holding Gretchen's hand. Gretchen gets into the limo. Johnny was about to get into, and then he sees Vivian across the street holding the baby, and he knew exactly what was going on. Um, that was episode 1. In episode 2, Johnny tells Vic about Vivian and Faith. Okay, he didn't know that the baby's name was Faith just yet, but I had already kind of spoiled that for you. The baby's name is Faith. Okay, Faith is the name of the baby that Johnny created with the baby he made with that virgin from American Satan. What I didn't tell you guys was that in Paradise City, there's a character named Simon, and Simon is a musician, but he's a totally DIY guy. He does everything himself. Everything he does it himself. He books his own gigs. He writes his own songs. He plays his own music. He does everything himself, and it turns out that like the Relentless, their record label, Acadian Records, they have a competing record label that starts with a P, like Pantheon Records. And Pantheon Records is owned by a guy named Oliver something guard Ostigard, Oliver Ostigard. And it turns out that a 20-year-old male fan of the Relentless is also the son of the owner of Pantheon Records, and his name is Simon. Okay, and Simon never met his father, even though his father owns that Pantheon record label. He never meets his own father, and he has to deal with the stigma of being a in his own words, bastard child. And I hate to describe him that way, but like that's how he feels. He's a bastard child. Ugh, that bothers me because I can relate in one way or another. Not cool. Not cool. Nevertheless, um, Simon, feels the stigma. and so do I, bro. To an extent. I mean, to an extent, not quite as bad as the character was written in this movie, this TV series. But I mean, like you feel me, right? All right. So anyway, so I mean, I didn't touch much upon it in the last video, but there's a character named Simon. He's 20 years old. He was raised by a single mother. It turns out that his father, Oliver Ostergaard, used to be a childhood friend and in adult life a business associate of Elias. And they used to, or they started a record label together and they had different visions. Elias was a little bit too punk rock. He was all about the artists, all about the music. And in Oliver's own words, I grew up, I became a man, and I realized money was important, and so they had a shift, and they parted ways over their ideologies. And Oliver decided to go start a company and take it public, and Elias wasn't really on board with that because he was too much about the music and too much about the artists. And Oliver slept with the chick, got her pregnant. They gave birth to Simon, and Oliver wasn't exactly ready to be a father. He offered the woman that he was sleeping with money for an abortion. She wouldn't take the money for the abortion. Jesus is hard to talk about because I can kind of relate to an extent. Not quite, but to an extent. So instead of giving her money because she declined the money, he offered her her own record label contract, which she also would not accept. She decided instead to have the baby, and she gave birth to Simon. And Simon is like kind of a minor character in Paradise City. So in Paradise City, Simon is about 20 years old. He's in his own band. They do really well for themselves locally, and that's about it. And his father is Oliver Ostergaard, if I got the name right, and I hope I did. And he was once a former business associate of Elias's. Okay, so Simon meets this chick named Amanda, and Amanda runs a website promoting all the DC, Maryland, Virginia area local bands, local shows, that sort of thing. That's significant to episode 2. Johnny and Gretchen go to relationship counseling. Gretchen expresses concerns regarding her and Johnny's future. Lily calls Gretchen at Leo's suggestion to arrange a meeting to bury the hatchet pertaining to what happened on American Satan. In American Satan, Johnny cheated on Gretchen with Lily. Um, Johnny was on the bottom, Lily was on top. They were going at it. Johnny's phone starts to ring. Gretchen was calling Johnny to say, hey, you know, I got my grants, I got my loans. I'm gonna move to LA and I'm gonna go to UCLA Berkeley or whatever, and I get to be with you now. And but Johnny's given it to Lily, and Lily sees the phone vibrating on the nightstand table. Johnny doesn't see it. Lily answers the phone. And in Paradise City, she apparently accepted FaceTime or something and set the phone up. I mean, this is just kind of a difference between the movie and the TV series. Whatever. Gretchen got the picture. Okay, so in this episode, Lily decides to call Gretchen at Leo's suggestion to arrange a meeting to bury the hatchet regarding her and Johnny's past taboo. Lily is also selling lint from her dryer. She's also selling shoes and jackets to online thirsty beta males. The relentless manager, Maya, gets into some arguments with a club promoter named Jay. Jay, he owns a club of some sort, and he's a pretty big deal in his local area. And him and Maya, the relentless manager, have been doing business together for a very long time. But they get into it, and then it turns out that Jay has a daughter who's a guitar player, and she's really talented. And Jay is making her promises that I'm gonna get Maya to listen to your music really soon, but he's too busy fighting with Maya to make anything happen. Vivian's mother, Lizzie, questions what happened to Faith. Well, what happened to Faith is that Vivian took Faith to LA. She showed up to Acadian Records because she knew that Johnny's band, The Relentless, was signed to Acadian Records, and she handed off the baby to Elias and said, hey, Johnny Faust is the father of this baby. Here you go. Um, Johnny didn't know this was happening, but due to the tensions between him and Gretchen, and he was kind of scared that he was going to lose Gretchen, he made an arrangement to show up to his new. So if you've seen American Satan, you know that Ricky died. So when Ricky died, the Relentless got a new manager named Adam Stone. So Johnny visits the new Relentless manager, Adam Stone, at Adam Stone's house, and he basically tells Adam Stone, hey, I need you to do me a favor, talk to Elias, get us in advance on our next new record, because I just bought Gretchen an engagement ring, and it cost me a fortune. Um, and Johnny even missed out on the. He even missed out on the Sirius XM radio debut of the Relentless's next single, because that single shouldn't have been released at that time. What happened was, in episode 1, when they played the Roxy, Dylan just went crazy and started playing the drum beat for the next song, and the Relentless just, they had no choice but to go along with it. Um, so Johnny couldn't be present for the Relentless's new single debut on SiriusXM radio as a consequence, because he was dealing with stuff in his personal life. When Johnny and Gretchen went to relationship counseling, the counselor asked them, like, what did you do on your first date? And it was revealed that they went to the state fair. They rode this Ferris wheel. So they decided to repeat that experience in this episode, and that's where Johnny decided that he was going to propose to Gretchen. He presented her with a ring, but unfortunately, at the state fair, he encountered both the Archangel Gabriel and Capricorn reincarnated. Remember, in American Satan, Johnny killed Mr. Capricorn. Guess what? Capricorn got reincarnated into a female form. Johnny doesn't know it, but he encountered Capricorn at the state fair in female form. He also encountered Gabriel at the state fair in another person's flesh, different actor. Johnny decided to propose to Gretchen while he was on the Ferris wheel. Capricorn, the female Capricorn, pushed a button that stopped the Ferris wheel. Johnny dropped the ring. And that's how the episode ended. I hope I sounded coherent enough. I've had enough to drink. I hope I was coherent enough to drink. I really do. I'm a diehard fan of this movie and the TV series and Black Veil Brides and Asking Alexandria and Olivia Culpa. I'm a diehard fan of hers. I'm just saying. Just saying. And Bella Thornes. To a point. I mean, I like Disney a little bit. I better just end this episode because I'm wasted. Horns up, peace out.